This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good work, everybody. Good Chodesh Elul. Thank you for coming. Such a wonderful turnout, and I'm sure more people will come. It's really a big chus to have Rabbi Glatstein in the community. We've all, or most of us, have enjoyed him throughout from Thursday through Shabbos, and now Malav Malka. He's going to give us chizuk for Chodesh Elul, and he's going to tell us stories of his travels from around the world. Rabbi Donovan said today the Maggid Harakiah. He's the storyteller of one who goes in the skies. He flies around the world and tells us all chizuk and divrei Torah. So it's magnificent. I just want to say a big thank you to the Mishpachas Cohen for having this tonight, and Family Urban for having the ladies event earlier today. It's a big deal to have things in your house, and thank you so much for doing it. A few things. The Rav has WhatsApp groups that his Shiurim go out all the time, different types of WhatsApp groups. If you would like to join them, come scan the barcode. It's right here, and join his WhatsApp groups. There's also his Svarim in the corner if anyone's interested to look at them, and if you'd like to buy one. I think they are 50 Aussie for the English and 40 Aussie for the Hebrew. If you'd like to do that, come speak and we'll explain to you how you do that. Please join in, sing. There's going to be divrei Torah throughout the night, and have a wonderful time.
You could give the singer.
Yeah. What's this one?
And maybe just like
Kikara.
Can you give me a bottle of water?
One more. Okay. Which one is it in? You gonna find it? Gotta find it. I saw it somewhere. Do that one. Yeah, there you go. That one. Come
So Matzoi Shabbos, the Ramah tells us we're supposed to speak about Eliyahu HaNavi. Why? Because Eliyahu can't come on Friday. On Friday people are making cholent. They don't have time for Eliyahu HaNavi. Shabbos Eliyahu can't come. Gemara says, Yesh tchumin l'mala me'asara. Eliyahu can't come from Shemayim to Aretz on Shabbos. So he can't come Friday, can't come Shabbos. His first opportunity to come is Matzoi Shabbos. So Matzoi Shabbos, the Ramah says you should speak about Eliyahu HaNavi. How many times? The Ramah doesn't say. But the Achronim talk about that you should speak about it many times. There are opinions you should say the words Eliyahu HaNavi at least 3 times. Other Achronim say 9 times. Kisvei Kabbalah, the Ari says 30 times. Actually, in fact, in one place, Arizal writes you should say the words Eliyahu HaNavi at least 130 times. So you know the song, Eliyahu HaNavi Zachor Latoiv, Eliyahu HaNavi. It's a very good song because if you sing it a couple of times, you get it probably about 130 times. Speaking about Eliyahu HaNavi has many segulais. First of all, it aids in memory. It aids in memory. The remez is Eliyahu HaNavi Zachor Latoiv. It helps you have Hatzlacha and Torah. There are many benefits talking about Eliyahu HaNavi. But the day will come that Eliyahu HaNavi will V'heishiv le'vavai sabanim. He'll bring Klal Yisrael back. He'll be Mavaser the Geula. The question is, where will be Eliyahu HaNavi's first stop?
Melbourne, Australia.
It's got to be the furthest place from Yerushalayim and New York. So I think here we are. Yeah? Maybe Sydney. It's a machlokas Sydney or Melbourne. Maybe Perth. But we're pretty close. So Bez Hashem, we hope Eliyahu comes tonight. And we should be the first to hear the Besura Taiva. Eliyahu HaNavi Zachor Latoiv, 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 Eliyahu HaNavi Zachor Latoiv. Actually, in Sydney, we spoke about, a malach can only do one job at a time. It's not like a human being that could ride a bike and chew gum at the same time. Eliyahu can only do one thing at a time. So Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen wonders, Chazal say Eliyahu HaNavi will usher in the era of tshuva. He'll also usher in the era of Tchias HaMesim, the resurrection of the dead. So that's 2 jobs. How will Eliyahu HaNavi be able to do both of these 2 jobs? And the answer is because Tchias HaMesim and tshuva are synonymous. Tshuva, in fact, is a form of Tchias HaMesim. Rishayim b'chayim nikra mesim. So if you're not on the straight and narrow, it's almost like you're not fully alive. So the process of tshuva doesn't only render a person righteous, it renders a person alive. It's a form of Tchias HaMesim. So tonight I was asked to speak a little bit about my trips. They're very tiring. I want to take you back to 1978, and Rabbi Ovadia Yosef was invited to Spain to inaugurate a yeshiva in Madrid. For the first time, there's a yeshiva in Spain since the 15th century. And in the context of that meeting, Rabbi Ovadia was invited to meet the King of Spain, King Juan Carlos of Spain, who ruled from 1975 to 2014. 2014, King Juan Carlos abdicates in favor of his son, Felipe. Now, Rabbi Ovadia had a profound respect for King Juan Carlos, not only as a powerful monarch, not only as a world leader, but as a sagacious man, as a chacham, mechachmei umayis ha'olam. And Rabbi Ovadia had the following halachic dilemma. He held that you make a bracha on King Juan Carlos. Certainly you make the bracha shechalak mikavoidoi lebasar v'dam. That's a bracha you make on a world leader who has the power of life and death. Shechalak mikavoidoi lebasar v'dam. Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach. Yeah, Be'ezras Hashem. Okay, there's a lot to talk about that, but I will not speak about American politics in the land down under. And Rabbi Ovadia held you make the bracha shechalak mikvaydai lebasar v'dam. Rabbi Ovadia also held to make the bracha on King Juan Carlos shechalak mechachmasai lebasar v'dam. Now Rabbi Ovadia wants to know, should he make two separate brachas, or should he incorporate both brachas in one nusach? So if you look in there's a sefer, Shiurei Maran Rishon L'Tzion, Rabbi Ovadia paskind to incorporate both brachas in one nusach, and Rabbi Ovadia in fact made the bracha Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Shachalak Mikavoidoi Umechachmasai Lebasar V'dam. And in that historic meeting, King Juan Carlos asked Rabbi Ovadia a stunning question. You wish you asked such a good question in yeshiva. He said, first of all, is there a difference in religion between Ashkenazim and Sfardim? That was the first question King Juan Carlos wants to know. So Ovadia says, is there a difference? There's no difference. Torah achas, u'mishpat echad lekulanu. There are only minor differences in custom, but in terms of fundamental practice, there's no difference between Ashkenazim and Sfardim. By the way, Rabbi Ovadia writes that when we came into the palace, it was stifling. Anybody who ever went to Europe knows that in Europe they don't believe in air conditioning. You know, they actually had this in Sydney also, but they cap the air conditioning at 20. Okay, so it could be 200 degrees outside. You're not going to get too cool in the hotel rooms. And in the palace of Spain, it was stifling in the room. And Rav Ovadia says his wife, Rebbetzin Margalit, she was flushed, she was famished, and the Queen of Spain got off her throne, went to the windows. You know, in Spain they have these tall windows, and you need to take a big stick and open up the windows, and she serviced Rebbetzin Ovadia. Says Rav Ovadia, that was the fruition of the Nevuah, that queens will serve you. That was fulfilled in 1978 when the Queen of Spain served Rabbi Ovadia Yosef's Rebbetzin. Okay, the king then tells Rabbi Ovadia, I asked for mechila, please be meichel us for what we did 500 years ago. We expelled the Jews from Spain, but you should know, Rabbi Ovadia, that many Jews, when they were expelled from Spain, they made their way to Holland. In Holland, they published the first Bible. King Juan Carlos says, I am in possession of the very first Bible published. I study the Bible every day, and I honor and respect the wisdom of the Jewish people. Whereupon King Juan Carlos asked Rabbi Ovadia an amazing question. He says, firstly, Rabbi, how many Sfardim live in Israel today? So Rabbi Ovadia says, what do you mean? Half of Israeli population are Sfardim. Sfardim includes Yemenites, Moroccan, Iraqi, Iranian, Egyptian, Syrian. They're all Sfardim. Frekt King Juan Carlos Akasha. This is a kasha that any serious student of history needs to ask. Ask King Juan Carlos, why in the world would a Yemenite be called a Sephardi? He was never in Spain. He doesn't even know where Spain is. They've been in Yemen for 1,000 years, since the Churban Beis HaMikdash. A Jew in Morocco, a Jew in Iran, a Jew in Iraq. They were never in Spain. Their ancestors were never in Spain. They've been in their ancestral country from the day the temple was destroyed. Why in the world would you call them Sephardim? Why call them Sfardim? And Rabbi Vadia gave an answer that never forget for the rest of your life. Says Rabbi Vadia, I want to tell you a very great principle. Says Rabbi Vadia, by the way, the greatest sage who ever lived in Spain was who? The Rambam, Rabbeinu Moshe ben Maimon. Somebody showed me today in the Koilal from Rabbeinu Ephraim. Rabbeinu Ephraim says there's a remez to the Rambam in the last pasuk of Chumash. Ulechol hayad hachazaka. That's the yad hachazaka. Ulechol hamoira hagadol. That's the moira nevuchim. Asher asa Moshe liyenei. That's a remez to the Rambam. But I'm going to tell you a better remez to the Rambam. The Rambam was born in the year 4,895. We have a tradition from the Vilna Gaon. There are 5,845 psukim in the Chumash. Each pasuk corresponds to another year of the world's existence. So if you wanted to know what is going to happen this year, what this year is 5, 7, 8, 4. You know what the 5,784th pasuk talks about? Chamas Yeinam. That's this week. That's this year's pasuk. You know, I wonder if there's any connection to what actually took place this year. Okay, but that's the Masar we have from the Vilna Gaon, that the number of psukim in the Torah correspond to the years of world history. The 4,895th pasuk, which corresponds to the year of the birth of the Rambam, says Hayol Moshe Be'er es HaTorah Hazois. Moshe began to explain the Torah. That's the pasuk that corresponds to the year of the birth of the Rambam. I would add, it says, Be'ever HaYarden Be'eretz Moav Be'er Moshe. Why Be'eretz Moav? Because the Rambam came from David HaMelech, from the Eretz Moav. Therefore that pasuk, the 4,195th pasuk that corresponds to the birth of the Rambam, references not only Moshe explaining the Torah, but Be'eretz Moav, because that's where the Rambam comes from. It comes from David HaMelech, from Rus HaMoaviyah. Be it as it may, says Rabbi Vadia, the greatest sage of the land of Sfarad was the Rambam. Says Rabbi Vadia, Klal Yisrael is different than any other nation. All other nations, what makes them a nation is a united land. But the Jewish people, even though we have a land, our land is not what makes us a nation. Our Torah makes us a nation. Like Reb Sadia Gaon writes, Ein umasenu uma ela b'Torah. The reason we're all part of the Jewish people is not because we all live in Eretz Yisrael or are affiliated with Eretz Yisrael. It's because we're all united and rally around the Torah. That is what forges us into a people. Therefore, says Rav Vadia, the definition of a Jew, the way a Jew defines himself, is not what country you live in, but who is your Chacham, who is your Rav, who is your Rebbe. All Jews, whether they come from Yemen, or they come from Morocco, or they come from Iran, or Iraq, or Syria, have accepted upon themselves the authority of the Rambam. And the Rambam was from Sfarad. The definition of a Sfardi is someone who accepts the teachings of the Rambam. That's the meaning of the word Sfardi. And to me, this is a very important hashkafa. Because what defines a Jew is, who do you learn from? Who are your Abbeim? Who are your teachers? Who are the Chachamim you're affiliated with? This is not just a part of your life. This is your definition. This is how you define yourself. So to me, to have an opportunity to travel, this is a different kind of trip. This is a trip of Harbatas Torah, Shiurim, seeing Chaverim. But I've been to many places to go to Kivrei Tzadikim. So people ask me, why do you go to so many Kivrei Tzadikim? Do you feel you can't daven at home? The answer is, I daven better at home. In my Dalet Amos, in my Makom Kavua, I probably daven better. But I spend my time giving Shiurim, learning about the Rishonim, the Achroinim. So I want to learn about them. I want to know, where did they live? What were the conditions in which they wrote their Sfarim? What's their history? What's the history of the countries they lived in? Because you know what drives me crazy? People say, Rabbi, you want to hear a good vart, but I forgot who said it. I said, no, I don't want to hear it. I'm totally not interested. Because if you don't even know who said it, the vart is almost without any flavor. Once you say you don't remember who said it, I want to know who said it. And it's not even good enough to know who said it. I want to know what sefer did he say it in. Don't tell me I saw in a Parsha sheet that the Chasam Sofer, everyone blames everything on the Chasam Sofer. Any Dvar Torah that you think is cool, that you have no idea who said, you're going to blame on the Chasam Sofer? No. And which sefer did the Chasam Sofer say it in? Did he say in Torah Moshe? Did he say in Chasam Sofer ala Torah? What Parsha did he say it in? That's like half, if not more, of the Dvar Torah. Because there's a difference between a Chasam Sofer and a Chida and a Rabbi Kiva Eger and a Marsha. And that's a very important way of elevating your connection to learning, is knowing who the Chachmei Yisrael are, knowing their style, knowing their svarim. I don't even like using the computer. You know, I have Oitzar Chachma at home. But when I find something on the computer, I'm not holding the book, I'm not holding the sefer, I don't see the print, I don't see the context of the other pieces that the piece appears in. You know, that's all part of the Dvar Torah. So I want to know where the Chasam Sofer lived. What did the city look like? What was the history of the city? What does it say on his kever? It is not like, for me, it's not a superstitious thing. I'm going to go to the kever and I'm going to pray there, and it's going to be a segula for A, for B, for C. I don't need segulais. Nobody needs segulais. God gave us a Torah. Learn Torah, do mitzvahs. You'll have whatever you need. But I want to know about the Chachmei Yisrael, because that's the tradition of that's our Messiah. They gave over the Torah to us. The Chachamim of the later generations, the earlier generations, even today. Who's your Rav today? Who's your Rebbe today? Do you speak with them? Do you associate with them? Okay, you listen to their shiur. Do you walk them home? Do you have a relationship with them? Do you eat with them? You have to be close to the Chachmei Yisrael of past generations and those who are living. So I could share with you some very interesting stories of things that happened to me. Once I told you that I'm not a superstitious guy, I have some good superstitious stories to share with you. But this is just a few short divrei hakdama to some of the upcoming stories. Okay, we'll pick it up.
Melech Very simple song.
So one of the great Jewish travelers was the Chida, Reb Chaim Yosef David Azulai. The Chida was born in 1724. He lived till 1806. He lived a very colorful life. The Chida made two great travels throughout Europe, North Africa, from 1753 to 1758, and from 1773 to 1778. It's interesting, when he was in London in 1776, he writes in his diary that the economy in London crashed because of the American Revolution in 1776. The Chida, wherever he went, he records going to many historic spots. He was in the Tower of London, he was in Versailles. The Chida lived an amazing life. The Chida wrote more than 80 Sfarim. One of the amazing Sfarim the Chida wrote is a Sefer I highly recommend everyone have. First of all, there are a number of Sfarim every Jewish home has to have. Shem HaGdolim. You gotta have a Shem HaGdolim. Shem HaGdolim is one of the most remarkable Sfarim ever written. The Chida wrote it when he arrived in Italy and he was in Lazaretto, which was in quarantine. And he had no Sfarim, and he had no computer, obviously. And the Shem HaGdolim is a list of all the Sfarim ever written from the beginning of time until the Chida, and all the Rabbanim who ever lived from the beginning of time until the Chida. Every Jewish home has to have a Shem HaGdolim. Even if you live in Australia and it's not so easy to get Sfarim, you must have a Shem HaGdolim. You have to have a Shem HaGdolim.
We got lots of Shiurim in Australia. Lots.
Yeah, but do you have a Shem Agdolim?
You'll give it to him.
Another amazing sefer the Chida wrote is Avodas HaKodesh. Avodas HaKodesh is a list of Hanhagos Toivos of the Chida. I'll give you an example of a few of them. Chida says that whenever you give tzedakah, you should be mechavein to be meyached the Shem of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How? The coin is a little circle, is a yud. Yeah? Your hand is a hey. Your arm is a vav. The hand of the ani is a hey. When you give the tzedakah, you're meyached the 4 oisiyos of Hashem's name. There are many hanhagos tavis that the Chida brings. Another one, Chida says, before you do any mitzvah, talis, tefillin, and Torah, you should always be mahar b'tshuva. You should make sure that a mitzvah that you do, if it's for it to be done in the utmost purity, you want to be in a state of tshuva. Be mahar b'tshuva before you do a mitzvah. It's not a big chiddush. The Rambam writes, every single day, one should not let a day of their life go by not to connect that day with the midah of tshuva. How the Chida was able to accomplish so much? The Chida writes in Avodas HaKodesh in Ois Kufnon Gimel, he says, Umi she'enoi ma'avedes hazman, someone who doesn't waste time, yesh zman lakal, there's time for everything. So I think that's something the Chida teaches, but it's dvarim ru'uyim lamisha amram, something worthy of the one who said it. The Chida was able to accomplish everything, but mi she'enoi ma'avedes hazman, yesh zman lakal. So when I started, I left yeshiva. I see my good friend Rabbi Na'amat, Yeshiva Chafetz Chaim. And like in most good Litvish yeshivas, you're not going to hear about the Chida. So when I started giving Shiurim, I don't know, I found myself inexplicably drawn to the Svarim of the Chida. Every time I was giving a Shiur, I was quoting a new sefer I discovered from the Chida. I couldn't explain it. Like, why does this Ashkenazi guy drawn to the Svarim of the Chida? And then I remembered that when I was in Eretz Yisrael, I went to Har Menuchos. It was my great-grandfather's yard site. And as I'm coming out of Har Menuchos, I see an oyhel. And by the way, at the time, it looked like Kever Rachel. I don't know if you remember Har Menuchos from about 20 years ago. I see this oyhel. I said, let me go in. It looks interesting. And it said the Chida. I was like, oh, the Chida. I think I heard of him. It's not like we learned to Svarim, but I think I heard of him. Did anyone remember Har Menuchos about 20 years ago? The Chida's kever was a replica of Kever Rachel. They've since changed it. I went in there. I remember feeling a special connection with the Chida. And now it's 20 years later. I'm giving Shiurim, and I can't shake him. Whatever topic I'm doing, this thing from the Chida, that thing from the Chida, I couldn't he wasn't letting go of me. I could not figure out, what does the Chida have with me? And I visited my grandfather. My grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. He was in all the dark places, in Auschwitz, in Radom. He put on tefillin every day in Radom. And there's a famous story. Rav Evan told me that he recently was in Birkenau, and he had a miraculous story with the tefillin. I'll let him tell it at the right time. Yeah? My grandfather put on tefillin every day in Radom. Him and his brother Heinach. First, my grandfather put on the tefillin, and then Heinach. If you get caught, they put a bull in your head on the spot. So, one particular day, my grandfather put on the tefillin, he gave it to his brother Heinach. Heinach puts on the tefillin Shayad, he puts on the tefillin Sharosh. Just then, the SS officer, Ficus, walks in, he sees the tefillin, he picks up the gun to shoot, he takes a look at the tefillin Sharosh, he chapped a sitter, he put the gun down, and he ran out in fear. My grandfather writes, it was an open miracle. The Gemara says, V'ro kol amei haaretz, ki shem Hashem lekecha nikra, zu tefillin shabarosh. I heard it from my grandfather, I heard it from Uncle Heinach. He said it was an open miracle. Anyway, my grandfather passed away recently at 106 years old. He was a Talmud Muvak of Rabbi Menachem Zemba, of many pre-war Gedolim. And after liberation, he was made the head of the religious department of the Joint Distribution Committee. It's an office of the American Army. They gave him, he was a Polish survivor, but he knew English. They gave him an army uniform, and they gave him a jeep. And in that capacity, he was able to bring in for the survivors Tashmishe Mitzvah, Tashmishe Kedusha. He built mikvahs, he built yeshivas, he built the Beis Yaakov. He picked out who he wanted to marry, which was my grandmother, who is the daughter of the last Rav of Sachachav. And he also printed the very first Sfarim for the survivors. So in 1945, my grandfather printed the very first Sfarim for the survivors. And I want to show you a picture of the first Sefer that my grandfather published in 1945 with a green army cover. The Sefer Lev David of the Chida was the first Sefer published in 1945 for the survivors. And I'm thinking, maybe, just maybe, that's why I feel such a strong connection to the Chida. I didn't know this. It wasn't like I wanted to explore why I wasn't even aware. And somehow I had this strong connection with the Chida. But the story didn't end there. So I was giving Shiurim from the Chida, and these collectors would ask me, Rabbi Glatstein, you're interested in old Sfarim? I said, yeah. What are you interested in? I said, the Chida. Okay. And if there's one thing you could have, what would you want? So one thing I could have, I would want the signature of the Chida. They said, you have very good taste because the signature of the Chida is quite an expensive item. Now what's very interesting is that the Chida had a magnificent signature. The Chida signed his name in the shape of a boat. A very artistic, elaborate boat. And the reason he signed his name in the shape of a boat is because his great-great-grandfather, anybody know who the Chida is? The great-great-grandfather was? The Chesed Li Avram, Rabbi Avram Azulai. Rabbi Avram Azulai was a great Mekubal. He came from Fez. He is buried in the ancient cemetery in Hebron. So I was there also. And the Chesed Li Avram one time docked his boat, and it was capsized, and a miracle happened, and he survived. So to commemorate that miracle, the Chesed Li Avram signed his name in the shape of a boat. So the Chida, in honor of his great-great-grandfather, would sign his name in the shape of the boat. But what's interesting is the Chida always calls the Chesed Li Avram his grandfather. And someone had the chutzpah to ask the Chida, why do you call him your grandfather? He was your great-great-grandfather. So the Chida wrote a tshuva, far'enfering, how he has a right to call his great-great-grandfather his grandfather. And he brings a raya that you could do something like that. In any event, so I told this collector, Israel Mizrahi, I want the signature of the Chida. Meanwhile, over the years, I got different emails of a glass, and I found the signature of the Chida. Maybe you want it. Now, when I say I want it, it's like a dream. I want it. Like, you want a yacht. I want the signature of the Chida. It's not like in my league or anything. So, people send me emails, and how much is it? It's like $12,000. So I would have to come up with an excuse why that one. I do want the signature of the Chida, but not that one. Because it was never the full boat. It was missing the sail. It was missing the mast. Finally, Israel Mizrahi calls me up. I have the most magnificent signature of the Chida. Okay? So he shows it to me. It's perfect. Not only that, it's in a sefer that the Chida owned. Meaning, he owned the sefer of a Rishon. Okay? I'm not going to tell you which one yet. And in his personal copy, he signed his name in the shape of a boat. So I said, well, how much is it? He told me the price. Nah. I wish I could, I'm a Rav. How am I supposed to? Anyway, Israel Mizrahi had a friend who, I'm not going to get into all the details, who became the son-in-law of a good friend of mine. And the way he became the son-in-law is this fellow, who's Israel Mizrahi's friend, is a French Moroccan. Now, I have a good friend who's looking for a shidduch for his daughter. He happened to come on a trip with me to France, and he davened by the Kfarim in France, by Rashi, Rabbi Notami. Then he came on a trip with me to Morocco. And after he came to France and Morocco, right after, his daughter found a French Moroccan as a shidduch. If that's not a good plug to come on my trips, I don't know, And his joke by the Shavar Brachas is, it's a good thing the Alaska trip was after his daughter already got married. Because there are not too many French Moroccan Alaskans. French, Moroccan, what are they called the guys who live in the igloo? Eskimo, French, Moroccan, Eskimos, not too many of those. So, my friend's son-in-law told Israel Mizrahi that I think my father-in-law, he wants Rabbi Glatstein to have this thing. So next thing I know, Mizrahi calls me. He says, I have a new price for you. He tells me the price. It was still a little steep, but I went for it. And I'm in possession of the Chida's personal copy of a Sefer, of a Rishon, that has the full boat signature. And I'm going to show it to you soon. And I now own a Sefer of a Rishon. The Chida owned the Sefer. Actually, when I opened it up, there are chidushim in the handwriting of the Chida about who the Orchos Chaim of Lunel was. Fine. Next. I'm working on a Sefer on Rabbi Meir Balanes. Okay? Hashem gave me this chus, Siyata Shmaya. I published the Sefer on Rabbi Meir Balanes. In the Sefer on Rabbi Meir Balanes, I have how Rabbi Meir is connected to every Zman of the year. I have a shtickle on Chanukah. On Chanukah, there's a famous question. Let's see if you could guess what it is. Yeah? The Beis Yosef's kasha, right? Why is Chanukah 8 days? It should only be 7 days. There's enough oil to last for 1 day. So it's not 8 days of miracle. It's only 7 days of miracle. So the Orchos Chaim of Lunel answers. Okay? Orchos Chaim of Lunel. Now the Chida quotes the Orchos Chaim of Lunel. So the Chida is an Achron. He quotes the Orchos Chaim of Lunel, who's a Rishon, who says that the Yevanim try to be mevatel 3 mitzvahs: Rosh Chodesh, Shabbos, and Milah. On Chanukah, there will always be a Rosh Chodesh. Right? Rosh Chodesh, Tevis will always be on Chanukah. There will always be a Shabbos Chanukah. But what remez is there to Milah? So Chanukah is 8 days to be merames to Milah. And the Orchos Chaim Lunel asks another question, a very interesting question. We have Sveika D'Yoma. You keep how many days of Shavuos here in the land down under? 2 days. Why? Sveika D'Yoma. So why don't we have 9 days of Chanukah out Sveika D'Yoma? So you say, we don't have Sveika D'Yoma on D'Rabbanans. Not true. Because Rishonim asked, why don't we have Sveika D'Yoma on Purim? And the answer, because it says V'lo Yavar, you can't go beyond the 14th. That implies that if it doesn't say V'lo Yavar, you could have Sveika D'Yoma on D'Rabbanans. Right? So the Chida quotes the Orchos Chaim of Lunel that Chanukah is 8 days because we have a Shabbos, we have a Rosh Chodesh, we need 8 for Milah. So I wrote this and I published it. And I say, hey, wait a second. That's from the Orchos Chaim of Lunel. That's the Chida quoting the Orchos Chaim of Lunel. Hashem just sent me the Chida's edition of the Orchos Chaim of Lunel that the Chida owned and saw and wrote in a Sefer. And the Rebbe Hashem says, here, Glatstein, here, you're writing about it. Here, this is one's for you. So the copy of the Chida's signature that I got was the Chida's personal edition of the Orchos Chaim Lunel that I used to publish. So I think that it's a good idea to develop your relationship with the Chachmei Yisrael. Because as much as you think you're investing in it, they're going to stay connected with you as well. And you'll see, if you feel connection to the Chassam Sofer, or Rabbi Kiva Eger, or the Marsha, learn about them, learn their Svarim, learn their history, find out about them. You'll see, as much as you follow them around, they're going to follow you around as well. I'll tell you some other interesting episodes in a bit.
Abba Shalei So, yeah.
Just a quick interval break. So I don't know if you guys know, but the Rav has a new sefer coming out on Chinuch. On Chinuch, it's in Hebrew, but ArtScroll have just agreed to also put it out in English, and it's very amazing. I'm very excited for it. And if anybody wants to be mishtatev with the Rav for Batas Torah, you can speak to him and get involved if you like. And who knows, maybe we'll get a snippet sometime tonight from it.
Oh, you had Kachuy Machon Dvarim somewhere.
You got it? One more. Yonashoma will thank you. Yonashoma will thank you. Which one? The Rav got a request.
I know, he'll have the chords. I couldn't find it. Let's see if they know it. We're going to get the chords. That's the chords. They won't know it. Very hot.
for 2 years already.
People know the chorus if they remember.
Try it.
Which one?
Shari Shamayim Sa.
Shamayim Pesach.
You know America.
Let's jump straight to the chorus.
Full of years ahead of your music.
Shamayim Pesach. What?
Okay, go to the high part, yeah.
Shamayim Pesach, Shamayim Pesach,
Not much in here.
Some more stir. So in the summer of 2021, we had a trip to Ukraine, which I don't recommend going at the present moment. And I wanted to go to the city of Lemberg, Lvov, because in Lemberg you have the kever of a number all-time great achronim. I was interested in going to all of them. Who's buried in Lemberg? You have the Sma. Now, an interesting thing about the Sma is the Sma had a very righteous wife, a very learned wife, and she was a very holy woman. She had a desire to fast every single day, but so long as she was married, she wouldn't do that to him. When the Sma passed away and he was buried in Lemberg, the wife of the Sma, who was so learned that the Sma, in the introduction to the Sma written by his sons quote halachic rulings of the Sma's wife. Do you know that? I bet in Australia some people still follow the Sma's wife. When do you light candles? Yom Tif night. Do you light candles in the beginning of Yom Tif? Or do you wait to light candles later on when the husband comes home? I know yesh yesh, but yesh is right and yesh are wrong. But what? It's always yesh for yesh, you know. People like to say it's a machlokes. It's a machlokes. Some say to do the right thing and some say to do the wrong thing. There's always a machlokes. But the wife of the Sma said to light later, but if you don't know what to do, you light earlier. But this is a psak brought in the Hakdama of the Sma from the wife. She was a very righteous woman. When the Sma died, she traveled to Eretz Yisrael. She made Aliyah. Nobody made Aliyah in the 17th century, in the 1600s. She lived in Yerushalayim. She set up Gemilas Chasadim. She fasted every single day. When she passed away, they accorded her the honor of being the only one buried within Dalet Amos of Zechariah Hanavi on Har HaZeisim. You could go there today. I've been there. Go to Har HaZeisim. You know the big monument for Zechariah? At the foot of Zechariah's tomb is the kever of Eshes Sma. Okay, so you have the Sma. Who else is buried there? The Taz. Rabbeinu David. Some say he was the greatest of all the Achronim. When the Cossacks came, the Taz led the prayer, and he fainted in the middle of the prayer, and in his dream he saw V'ganoisi alir ba'avur David Avdi, that Hashem says, I'm going to protect the whole city in the merit of David, Rabbeinu David, the Taz. So you have the Sma, you have the Taz. Who else is buried there? The Yeshuas Yaakov. Who else is buried there? The Shoyal Umeshiv, Rabbi Yosef Shal HaLevi Natanzan. And then I remember seeing there, that was the whole story, what this kever looks like. Actually, the whole cemetery was destroyed. And we were leaving Lemberg, and we needed to catch the flight. And nobody wanted to delay getting to the airport to go to these kfarim, except for me, because I'm not coming back to the Ukraine. I went there to go to these kfarim. So there was terrible traffic. Nobody knows exactly where it is. It's not a real cemetery. It's a monument behind the air conditioning system of the Ukrainian hospital. Okay? So nobody knows where it is. And all of a sudden we're on the way to the airport, and we're telling the cab driver, Jewish monument. He's like, Jewish monument? He takes us behind a hospital. Behind the air conditioning vents is a big monument, and on it says, here lays the Sma, the Taz, Yeshuas Yaakov, the Shalom Meshiv, and Rav Mordechai Zev Atinga. Now, I'm not a complete Am Haaretz, but I never heard of Rav Mordechai Zev Atinga. So I filed it away. I was at the kever of Mordechai Zev Atinga. Fine. We come back, it's Shabbos Chazayin. A few days later, Shabbos Chazayin. So I say, Besides the regular Shiurim, I give a big share Wednesday and Friday. Those are like the new Shiurim of the week. It's Thursday, I got to come up with good material. So I'm looking for a good subject. What could I speak about? Shabbos Chazayim. So I saw an amazing question. I never saw this question before. The Gemara says, why was Yerushalayim destroyed? Shaloi berchu b'Torah tchila, right? They didn't make berchus HaTorah. So all of a sudden I find the kasha of the Magen Gibarim. The Magen Gibarim asks, what do you mean they didn't make berchus HaTorah? So what? What's the halacha if you don't make berchus HaTorah and you finish davening? You don't have to say berchus HaTorah again. Why? Because you could be yotzai with avarabba. So who cares they didn't say berchus HaTorah? They said avarabba. They're yotzai. That's the kasha of Magen Gibarim. I said, you know what? This is a perfect kasha to give a shir on, because it seems like the answer is that there's still an advantage of saying berchus HaTorah, because in berchus HaTorah you're davening for your children. You say v'ni anachnu v'tzetzoinu, and that you don't have an avarabba. So you see that in ikar and berchus HaTorah is a tefillah for your children. Fine. So I give the shir on Friday, and then I say, hey, Magen Gibarim, the Mishnah Berurah quotes Magen Gibarim on every page. It would probably be nice to find out who's the Magen Gibarim. How come I don't know who the Magen Gibarim is? Like you learn the Magen Gibarim. Who is the Magen Gibarim? So I look it up. Sure enough, it's Reb Mordechai Zavatinga, the one kever I was just at. And he's like, thank you very much for visiting me. I'm gonna, you've paid me a visit. I will be paying you an immediate visit right after. And I have a couple of interesting stories like this. And since you have all night, you're going to hear them, right? No, I'll just tell you one more. This was one of my favorite places I ever went. I'm very happy I went there. Turkey. I wanted to go to the kever of Reb Chaim Falaji. I love the Chida, Reb Chaim Falaji, the Ben Ish Chai, and Reb Avadia. Why? I don't know the answer yet. I told you the Chida. The others, I don't have the answer yet. I wanted to go to the kever of Reb Chaim Falaji. Reb Chaim Falaji wrote 72 svarim. In fact, many of them were unpublished. There was a great fire in Izmir. He lost many of the manuscripts. He fell into a terrible depression, because if you write a sefer and it's unpublished, how in the world are you, and it's destroyed, how could you ever recreate it? And his son would go to his bed every day and try to say over some of his chidushim to try to jog his memory, so that he should be able to recreate these chidushim. And ultimately, Reb Chaim Falaji was able to rewrite many of them. Anyway, I wanted to go to the kever of Reb Chaim Falaji. We went to Izmir, and sure enough, there is Reb Chaim Falaji. Buried next to him is the Shevet Musar. Shevet Musar is Rabbi Yehuda HaKohen of Izmir. Fine. So I'm looking around the cemetery there in Izmir, and I see on the floor there's a kever completely covered in weeds. Figure might be somebody important. I remember I cleared off the weeds, I cleared off the dirt, and I made sure to record it on TorahAnytime.com. You know about TorahAnytime.com? Never heard of it. Okay, so now's a good time. Now you're on it, exactly. So, and sure enough, what does it say? Rabbi Yosef Falaji, the son of Reb Chaim Falaji. And you can look on Torah Anytime. There's a 30-second clip. Why 30 seconds? Because I didn't know anything about him, so what am I supposed to say? But I wanted to record it. So I said, I'm here in Izmir at the kever of the son. I'm trying to get something out of it, because I just wanted to record it and say something. And it said he was a Rav in Izmir after Reb Chaim Falaji. Fine. That week it was Parshas Kisisa. I need to say a shir. So trying to think of a good topic, what's an interesting topic of Kisisa? I always like to do topics that nobody ever talked about. I don't like same old. It's not interesting. You want a new angle on something. So I was thinking about the topic: is there ayin hara when you do a mitzvah barabim? Let's say you teach Torah. So people are looking at you. You're a center of attention. Is there ayin hara? Is there ayin hara? If someone's a Maggid Shir, someone's a Rav, is there ayin hara? So I saw that Reb Chaim Falaji has a tshuva on it. So I go to tshuva Reb Chaim Falaji. So he starts saying, the luchos rishonos were broken because it was too public, and the luchos shniyos were given secretly, and therefore they had kiyum. And he says, but the truth is that the master of this subject is my son, Rabbi Yosef Falaji. So I am going to copy over Chidushim from my son in his tshuva, and literally 2 days later, after I left the kever of someone I had never heard of, I was giving a shiur from his Torah. So, that's a good story, But I'll tell one more, okay? Okay, one time I made a very big mistake. I miscalculated the days of the trip. And it's not a very big mistake. Who cares, really? And the last day of the trip was my birthday, my Hebrew birthday. And it was my 40th birthday. If I would have had my wits about me, I would have made sure to be home for that day. The last place I want to be is Ukraine, especially on my birthday. And I messed up the dates. So here it is. It's the night of my 40th birthday. I have a son who was born on my birthday. We have the same birthday, same Hebrew birthday. And I'm exactly 30 years older than him, so he always remembers to call me. We share the same birthday. And he calls me, and he's like, Daddy, happy birthday. I was like, guess where I am? I'm in the Ukraine. He's like, why are you in the Ukraine? He was calling me from Camp Agoda. Anyway, we were going to go home the next morning, and I was all like, why are we here in the middle of the Ukraine? And we were literally by the city of Kiev. It's not even a Jewish city. And the tour organizer says, Rabbi Glatstein, you won't believe it. They just found a new kever. So what do you mean they found a new kever? They killed someone and they buried him? How do you find a new kever? What do you mean they found a kever? No, a kever, one of the achronim. Who? Now, let me give you a little background now. My grandfather, I spoke about him before, he was a Holocaust survivor. His grandfather was the Rav of the city of Linschitz. Linschitz is a famed city in Europe. The Kli Yakar was a Rav in Linschitz. Many Gedolim served in Linschitz. My great-great-grandma was a Rav in Linschitz, and at the time he was a Rav in Linschitz, there was an all-time great personality living in Linschitz, the Malbim. What was the Malbim doing living in Linschitz? Why didn't the Malbim have a job? Because the Malbim was chased out of every rabbinic post he was ever in. The Reform, the Neolog, they hated the Malbim. Because the Malbim's objective in his commentary to the Chumash was to show that without Torah Sheba'al Peh, you can't read Psukim in the Chumash. The Malbim was, the Chafetz Chaim writes, we don't understand how Chazal make drashos. Only a Gadol like the Malbim could understand, when the Gemara says, I'll tikri this, but like that, how does the Gemara know, don't read it A, but read it B? The Malbim created 613 rules of grammar that any time one of these rules is violated, it's a signal to Chazal to make a drasha. The Chafetz Chaim says only a Gadol like the Malbim could understand drashas of Chazal. The Chafetz Chaim held the Malbim was the greatest of all the Achronim. In fact, the Briskers say there are 3 Achronim that have the Koyach of a Rishain. Obviously they say Reb Chaim Brisker. And who else do they say? The Gemara and the Malbim. There are psukim in Tanakh that even Rishonim didn't explain. The Beis Halevi says only the Malbim was able to explain Baruch HaKodesh. But the Malbim didn't always have a job. And he wrote many of his Sfarim in the city of Linschitz when he was running away. So my great-great-grandfather was a brother of the city, and the Malbim was sitting in a private Beis Medrash writing the Malbim. So my great-great-grandfather was best friends with the Malbim. Okay? My grandfather didn't know his father, but he knew of his grandfather. And to him, the Malbim was like his adopted uncle. Okay? So my grandfather did not let an hour of his life go by without speaking about the Malbim. In fact, my grandfather's initials are Malbim, Mardcha ben Yosef Menachem. He literally dedicated his life to learning the Malbim on Tanakh. So in our family, the Malbim is like, he's our uncle, When the Malbim died, they couldn't make a kever for him. Because the Reform said if they bury the Malbim, they will desecrate his body. So they buried him without a kever. Rabbi Yisrael, now, he also died in the middle of nowhere. He died in transit because of a dream he had that his final resting place would start with a kuh sound. And he thought it was a certain city. Little did he know that he would end up dying in Kiev. And he was buried in no man's land. Not in a Jewish community, without a kever. and Rabbi Yisrael Salanter was called there to give a hesped, and Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, sensing that Klal Yisrael was demoralized, that the Gad Adar didn't even have Kever Yisrael, said, we don't know why the Malbim is buried here, but we know one thing: Moshe Rabbeinu is buried mul Beis Pa'ar, to watch over all the souls of the Jews who sinned with Beis Pa'ar, so that when the great day comes that Moshe Rabbeinu is resurrected, he'll schlep out all of these souls. The Malbim must be here for an important reason. And he lay there for over 150 years, until my 40th birthday, when his kever was discovered. So the Torah organizer said, guess what? Would you like to go to the kever of the Malbim? So the Malbim is my family. Where's the Malbim buried? Kiev. But it's not in the middle of nowhere. Because a long time after the Malbim was laid to rest there, that area became the largest Jewish cemetery in the history of the world. He's buried in Babi Yar, with over 100,000 other Jews who have no Kever Yisrael. In a ravine, the Malbim is there, guarding and watching over all of these hundreds of thousands of Jews. That's where the Malbim is buried. So, Chazal say, the Pasuk in Mishlei says, that our parents, the Chachmei Yisrael, are our parents. You need to feel a connection to the Gedolei Yisrael. Now, let's go back to the Shem HaGdolim for a moment. I know you didn't have a chance to buy it yet. Hopefully tomorrow. In the first edition of the Shem HaGdolim, there is a Haskama from the Malbim. Remember what the Shem HaGdolim is? It's a list of all the Gedolim who ever lived and all the Sfarim that were ever written. And the Malbim wrote a Haskama, and the Malbim writes, what's the objective, what's the purpose of having a Sefer? That's basically an encyclopedia of the names of all the rabbis who ever lived and all the books who ever lived. Who cares? Says the Malbim, if you were famished and you were thirsty and somebody planted an orchard with delicious fruits and delicious drinks, and you're sitting there and you're resting in the orchard and you're eating the fruits and you're drinking the drinks, the first question you'd want to know is, who planted this for me? I would like to thank them. Says the Malbim, the most basic responsibility and obligation of a Jew is, if you have Torah and you can learn from the Chachmei Yisrael, your most basic obligation is, who are these people? Why did they write them? I want to learn about them because I need to have appreciation for them. So this is a very basic feeling that we should try to tap into, that we have a heritage of so many Sfarim and so much Torah and so much Chachma. This is not an academic ambition. It's a matter of Hakaras HaToiv to the Chachmei Yisrael of 2,000 years who are Moser Nefesh for Klal Yisrael, to give us Torah, to give us Chachma, and at the very least we should try to find out a little bit, who were they? When did they live? Why did they do what they did? And what could I take out of it? So I thank you very much for your very kind attention and for your very warm welcome and hospitality. And I wish everybody here in the holy community of Melbourne, Australia, that firstly, may Eliyahu come really soon to be Mavaser the Geula. And when he comes to Melbourne, just send me a message in New York that Eliyahu is on the way. And I wish you all a ksivach simatayva. Thank you very much. Yuvnei Yisa b'karoi v'yameinu b'karoi v'yameinu b'nya Yuvnei Yisa b'karoi v'yameinu b'karoi v'yameinu David David Avdecha v'imei Zayra da'che v'chizei David David. One second. Before the high part, I just want to give a special ashikach to Brad for opening up his home. For opening up his home for this beautiful Malava Malka. Thank you very much. Your home should always be open for Shefa Bracha V'Hatzlacha. And I want to give a very special ashikach to Rabbi Glatstein and Rabbi Gary Shapiro for making this whole weekend possible. Shem Shemi Mavarich you. Nirbe Zechu Yosecha Karimai. Shalayim. Let's go.
stroll through the world.
Nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Amen. Nice to meet you. Keep up the good work.
Nothing like a good mice. Just laugh.
Hagdol Torah Ladira. Nachas Tamidim. And children. Thanks for coming.
By any chance, do you allow people to take photos of that, of the Chidas?
Yeah, sure. It's in here somewhere. It's here. Amen. Thank you. Nice to see you. Yeah, cut it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.